Welcome to the Candle Business Coach podcast. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I am the Candle Business Coach. I'm also a mum of three and a kindness advocator. This podcast is all about making and selling candles, business development, and mindset, delivered to you with advice, inspiration, and motivation in a new episode every Friday. This episode is brought to you by the membership for candle makers, the Candle Makers Collective. Becoming a member gives you access to fortnightly online group Q&A coaching sessions to support you, monthly online workshops and trainings to help you grow your business, plus frequent expert guest speakers to inspire and teach you. You'll also have access to an ever-growing resource library with templates, guides, planners, and ebooks. But my favorite aspect of the membership is our exclusive Facebook group for accountability, connection, and support. So if you're looking to take your candle business to the next level and learn more about the membership for candle makers, click the link in the show notes for the Candle Makers Collective. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Today, I am very, very excited to have Simone on the podcast. She is an SEO and Pinterest expert, and I know that a lot of you have been asking questions to me about Pinterest and SEO, and so I thought, who better to have on the podcast but the beautiful Simone? So, would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me today. So as you said, I am a Pinterest and SEO expert. I fell into the world of SEO after I was a virtual assistant to begin with. And so I loved Pinterest. I've been using it for a long time, for about 14 years now. And I just naturally found this area that hadn't quite been tackled in Australia yet. And then because Pinterest is actually a top of funnel search engine, very similar to Google, it's driven by keywords and SEO, and I loved that aspect of it. And so it was great to, then really naturally fall into SEO.
For those of the listeners that might not have necessarily used Pinterest before, you said before that it's a top of funnel search engine, but how does it actually work? Can you give us a bit of a definition or an explanation about how it actually works?
As I said, it is a search engine. So like Google, it is driven by an algorithm. We don't know all the secrets about that algorithm, because if we did, we'd be winning at the internet, obviously, the same as we would be with Google. But what we do know is that it uses keywords to connect people with the content. So somebody goes into Pinterest, they search a keyword, and they're connected with content, no matter whether they're following you or not, which is the real beauty of it. It doesn't matter if they're a follower. It doesn't matter if you have 5 followers or 1 million followers. You still are able, there's a possibility that they could connect with your content no matter whether they're a follower or not. So that is the really great thing about it. The other thing is that Pinterest kind of predicts what people's interests are, and that's also how they connect. They think, okay, you, by your searches, it looks like you're interested in these things. And so I'm going to start showing these things to you, whether you like it or not, basically, because we think this is what you're interested in.
And is the idea behind Pinterest, and I assume the same with other platforms like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, they want you to stay on the platform for as long as possible. So by showing you things that you might be interested in, it's hopefully keeping you on Pinterest for longer and continuing to search through the different pins and different things that they show you.
Yes and no. The beauty of Pinterest is that every single piece of content is connected to a link to a website on the other side. So Pinterest actually wants you to fulfill your need of whatever you're searching for. So if you click on that pin, you look into that pin, you click on it, you'll go to the link where you'll get the information that you want. It's a discovery platform. It's an inspiration platform. So it wants you to actually get an answer at the end of it. So unlike TikTok or Instagram, where you're just scrolling and where the links are sort of in the profile, with Pinterest, the link is attached to every single piece of content. So that's why there's really that great opportunity to drive traffic to your website, to your blogs, or to your opt-ins, or wherever else you're trying to send traffic to with whatever goal you have. There's that really great opportunity with Pinterest to do that, because every piece of content has a link.
So you said that you've been involved with Pinterest for about 14 years. Do you think in 2024 it's still worth the time investing in setting up an account and being consistent on the platform?
Absolutely. I think that it is a great tool to be used in combination with your other strategy, your other content strategy. And so, getting if you've got, like I said, your blogs, your opt ins, any vlogs, trainings, FAQs, products, there's a whole list of things that you can get up onto Pinterest. So, getting those onto Pinterest is a great, chance to capture an audience that you may not have touched on earlier or touched on before. And look, it's free traffic. Who doesn't love free traffic?
It's more just the time investment that might be needed to bring everything across in
Exactly.
beautiful looking pins. And that's where someone like yourself can come in handy, because that's what you do, that's your bread and butter, and it makes sense to outsource that if you don't have the time available.
Yeah, and there's some really great tools out there. There's scheduling tools for Pinterest as well. There's some really smart scheduling tools. There are lots of pin templates available. I sell pin templates myself. And so, there are those shortcuts available. And you mentioned earlier about the consistency. And that's the thing. Consistency is key. So, there used to be this belief that you have to get 20 pins onto Pinterest, when in fact, that's not the truth anymore. You don't need to be posting 20 pins or repinning other people's content, 20 times a day. Now you can actually just post something once a day or once every second day. And Pinterest is still okay with that as long as you're consistent. So if you decide that you're only going to pin one pin a day, well, then do that, but do it every day for, 5 days a week. So schedule that in. You don't have to be there every day. Schedule it in and have that going out in the background so that you are staying consistent and giving the platform what it wants.
That's such a good point, because the algorithm on the social media platforms is very similar in that you need to be consistent to get the reach that you want for your posts and your stories and your reels and all the different things. So it makes sense that Pinterest would be the same in terms of being consistent. And I love that it's not chaining you to the platform. You can use the scheduling tools and apps to be able to do it in the background and still get that traffic coming to your website or come into your store or come into your social media handles.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And the other thing about Pinterest is that, it just wants you to use it as it natively should be used. And so sometimes I replace it with Google. So if I'm looking for something, I was looking for number 10 birthday cake ideas the other day. And so instead of going to Google, I went straight to Pinterest and searched that up and got my ideas and my pictures, then everything there. And so it is that kind of place that you can do that and get that inspiration that you need. And Pinterest loves it when you're using it in that way, as well as contributing to it as a business. And the other thing it loves is when you're actually engaging with people. So you can still engage on Pinterest like you do on Instagram. It's not quite the same, but you can certainly be sitting there on the lounge on a Friday night or, on a Wednesday night and just be on your app and be kind of leaving some comments on some people's pins or reacting, with a love heart to their content. That's still available and able to happen on Pinterest. And Pinterest loves it when that happens.
Would it be like if you go into a pin and leave a heart or leave a comment, that you're more likely to show up on other people's searches?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just tapping on that extra place where you can show up because you've got a comment and then someone else comes along and that pin may actually be a viral pin and they see your comment and you've left a really great, valuable, like really heartfelt comment and they go, oh wow, who's this person? I'll go check them out. And so it's just another opportunity for you to be seen.
I love that. What are the benefits of having a business Pinterest account compared to just a general account?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you can link to your website at the top of your profile, you'll have a link. And so that is a great opportunity, obviously. And then the other thing is you'll get the analytics that are available. Those won't be available on your personal account, on a personal account. So those analytics will tell you how many saves you're getting, how many people are clicking through to your links, how many people are seeing your content, how many people are engaging with it, which are your most popular pins. So there's some really great analytics there. And then, of course, you'll get Pinterest ads. So you'll have that ability as well. So some three really good reasons to have a business account over a personal account there.
And is there any cost involved in having a business account?
It's free.
So highly recommend for all the candle makers listening, once you get started on Pinterest, is to create that business Pinterest account so that you can utilize the analytics and the website link at the top of the profile and be able to do ads as well, which is something that is, I know there's many of the listeners that I've connected with that want to explore paid ads, whether that's on Meta or perhaps Pinterest as well. So it's good to know that that's an opportunity that can be explored if that interests the listeners.
Yes, absolutely. And if I could give, a couple of tips for getting started in terms of Pinterest, number one would be to open a business account, and then number two would be just to do some keyword research in the search bar and find out what people are searching in regards to your products or your content, and then including those keywords across your actual profile. So popping them into your profile name, putting them in your profile description, and then all across your pin images and your pin descriptions, as well as, making sure you're connecting your website and even uploading your audiences. So you're uploading your email list to the ads tool in case you ever actually do want to start getting into ads.
When I knew that we were going to be recording this episode, I reached out to my Facebook group, the Candle Business Hub, and asked everyone in there if they had any questions. And there were quite a few people that said, yes, I would love to know a little bit more about Pinterest and how it works and what it's all about. So the next few questions will be questions from my group. The first one is, which I think we've touched on, basically is, I have no idea how to use Pinterest. How do you use Pinterest as a newbie?
Amazing. Yeah. So do the steps that I've just mentioned to get started on the platform. And then just, go and create some pins that look great, that are suited to your brand, and that have, your own photos on there, because there's lots of stock photography out there. There's over 200 billion pins on Pinterest.
Wow.
So there's lots and lots of stock photography being used. So use your own photography where you can, your own product photos or your own photos of yourself, and create the pins, get them, publish them with a great description that mentions what it is that you're sending the person to, so what they're going to get from that pin, where it's linking to, with a great call to action at the end. Pop some keywords in there as well, put a great hook for the title, link it to a website, and press publish. And that is the first step, just going and doing it and giving it a try. You will need to have some boards created, at least one board, because the pins get saved to a board. They don't just save to Pinterest overall. And with your boards, they also need to be labeled as those keywords as well. So if you wanted to, you could create 3 boards. I like to start with about 12. And when I do my Pinterest profile setup, I do create about 10 to 12 boards, which are all optimized for Pinterest keywords, or what we call interest tags, which is a bit more complex. And so that gives you the ability to save any of your pins to any of those boards.
Yeah, it's so interesting because even myself, like I haven't used the platform that much. So I was so curious and so fascinated to speak to you about this, because I think it's something that is an untapped opportunity for so many businesses to get onto Pinterest and to use it in the best way possible. When it comes to adding content or adding pins to your business Pinterest account, do you keep things purely professional or purely just about your business, or can you weave in your story and your journey and some other things as well?
This is a great question. I love this. And so the thing about Pinterest is that it's easily confused. So in that sense, we want to keep things quite professional and on point, as to not confuse the platform. But what you can do is and also confuse the user, to be honest, if they come to your page and you've got nail designs or, something else on there, and it's completely unrelated to your business, it is a bit confusing. But what I do, and I mentioned earlier, I love using the platform as, my search engine, basically. I have private boards, secret boards, and those boards, if you had a look at them, they're like, house renovation ideas, pool ideas, decking ideas, there's birthday party ideas. And so I've basically using my business account as my personal account now. I just have these secret boards. So I can still go and search content and get people connected and connect with people through content that way. And then repin that content to my secret boards, and nobody else will see it but me. But Pinterest is still getting the signals that I'm using the platform and that I, it's my go-to for my search engine.
Oh, that's so clever. I didn't realize you could have secret boards to be able to do that. So that's a very good tip. Next question is Pinterest the right platform for candle or product-based businesses?
Absolutely. Pinterest is a great shopping platform, and we actually know that users end up buying on Pinterest about 20 times more than they do on any other search platform. The reason is because it's visual. It's almost like window shopping. You're able to window shop on the platform without even leaving the house, and you've got, you don't have to go to each shop separately. You've got all of the shops right in front of your eyes. And then you've got the ability to actually find a product, click on the product, and buy the product directly. So, the features of Pinterest, the shopping features of Pinterest are just insane. And even the fact that I could go to a shop, I could find a product, and I could use my Pinterest app to take a photo of that product, and it would show me other products all over Pinterest that are similar. So I might find something in a different color that, it's in pink and I actually want it in a different color. I'll take a photo of it and it'll take me to, millions of pins with that product that are all different colors that I can buy elsewhere.
And probably for cheaper as well.
Yeah, yeah. Or, it may be something like you've gone to Kmart and you don't really want to buy that product from Kmart. You want something a bit high quality. And so you've then, you could use the shopping tool to go and find that product somewhere else that's a little bit higher quality.
Wow. So then use your out and about shopping as inspiration to then jump back on Pinterest to find exactly what you want to purchase.
Yeah, and actual pins are shoppable, so they can be tagged with the product. So if I find a pin of a dress and some shoes, a lady wearing those things, I can go and click the little tag and it will take me to that dress or take me to the shoes. It won't take me to the exact shoes, but it will actually take me to a whole range of the same or similar shoes.
It's so powerful. I didn't even realize how incredible Pinterest really is and how powerful it can be for not only users but for business owners as well.
Yeah. And remember I said every pin has a link connected to it. And so if you posted a picture of your product or a pin of your product, that links straight through to the actual shop or wherever you're selling the product. Whereas on Instagram, we're having to relay people. We're giving them that extra step saying, click the link in my profile or DM me for the link or comment this and I'll send you the link. It's just that extra step that is giving buyers the opportunity to second think the purchase.
Yes.
And Pinterest removes that.
Yeah, definitely. And considering we live in a time where we love that instant gratification and we want to have things quickly, if there are those extra steps, as you say, it can give the person a second chance to think, this isn't actually what I want. I want to do something else with my time and with my money.
Yes, exactly.
Do you need followers on Pinterest to gain traction on the platform? How does that work?
Yeah, so this is what I was mentioning before. You don't actually need to have followers. It's great because your content will be definitely shown to them, but your content is discoverable by anybody, whether they're a follower or not, as long as you're using those keywords. So as long as we're optimizing our account, as long as we're optimizing our pins, they can show up in search and they can be found by people. So followers aren't really that important.
That's good to know, considering there seems to be, the vanity metrics on the social media platforms, but that doesn't necessarily equate to having more sales. It's better to have a smaller, engaged community that are actually purchasing from you and repeat purchases from you, rather than, thousands and thousands of followers, or it may look like you're more successful than what you actually are. At the end of the day, we want to be selling our candles, we want to be selling our products. And to be able to do that through Pinterest as well and having those direct links and those direct tags, it sounds like a no-brainer. I think everyone should jump on Pinterest and give it a go and start pinning things to their website or to their shop.
Yes.
What are the key elements of a compelling Pinterest profile or a compelling pin?
Yes, great. So in regards to the profile, I mentioned those keywords earlier. So in our profile name, we want to get the keyword in there as well as our business name. Or for example, myself, my business name is my name. So I have my name in the profile name, but I also have a keyword in there. And then in the description, you've got about 500 characters there. So you want to write something really great about who you are, who you serve, what it is that you do, or what it is that you offer. You might mention the location of those. So it might be worldwide, or it might be, within Australia, or has a bricks and mortar store here. And then you can just do a really great kind of finishing line. I love writing something there like that. But get those keywords in there. So you want to make sure that, and I love a profile cover image, it just lifts the profile up. It gives people an opportunity to see you or your product instantly when they come to your profile. And it has a quick spiel, much like your website, just that quick little tagline that bounces out visually to people. So try to upload that cover image if you can. And then, of course, you want to have your boards, like I mentioned earlier. They will also be optimized with the keywords. And then with your pin images, we want that really great photography that is your own, if possible. If you have to use stock photography and that's what's holding you up from getting on the platform, then don't let it. Go ahead and use stock photography. But I would imagine that your listeners would have a lot of photography of their products, so that's okay. Where you can get a human in the product, somebody actually holding the candle, coming up and sniffing the candle, things like that as your actual images, because people love to see, they love to imagine themselves in, with the product, with the item. And if you compare, something like a hair clip sitting on a desk or a table versus a hair clip in someone's hair, and you're able to see what it looks like against the hair, how big it is, then, it's a no-brainer in regards to which one is going to be more appealing. So use a great piece of photography. Then use your text overlay to describe really briefly what the image, what they're going to get, or what's, a great sort of hook line. So it might be 5 of my favorite items to have your house smelling clean or something like that, or get your house smelling clean with these 5 great items, something like that as a hook. And then that will hook people in to then click on the image. So those keywords are important over the text as well. And then, as I said, we want to make sure we've got the keyword in the pin title and the pin description.
It's very much about using those keywords to our advantage and being strategic and clever, but make it user-friendly for the person that's going to be clicking through at the end of the day.
Yes, absolutely. We often say that human first. So algorithms are, have robots in the background. Both Google and Pinterest are the same, but we need to be bringing human first to the front of mind. We need to be doing things for humans, not just to please the robots. And the thing is that if you are able to survey, like you've gone to your group and you've asked them questions, that's a really important step, actually. And that's actually great research for me. So do that research. Find out what is it that your audience is wanting. Why are they coming to you and buying your products? What is it that's driving them to do that? What questions do they have about the care of your products or the aftercare? So, and take those questions and create content for it, or create pins for it. Those pins will then drive people to your website, because if somebody's asking that in your community, then other people asking that worldwide. That question is out there. It wants to be answered. People want it to be answered. And so you're going to answer it with your content, and then you're going to send them to your website where you answer it even more, and you offer them this great product or an opportunity to sign up to your emailing list.
Yes, and we know the power of having an email list, particularly, if the social media platforms were to shut down even temporarily if you don't own your followers. Whereas with your email, you've got a lot of power and a lot of connection with the people that have actually decided to sign up with your
Yeah.
email. So to be able to direct them to the website and take them either to a shopping, to the shop where they can purchase or to sign up to their email is really, really powerful. What types of content perform well on Pinterest?
Yes, fantastic. So I mentioned earlier, it's top of funnel. And what that means is that the people that have found you on Pinterest don't know you yet. They don't trust you yet. And so you need to establish that trust and authority with them. You do that by offering them answers to what they want, by fulfilling their needs without needing them to first buy anything. And so, it's great to get some products out there. But really, even e-commerce businesses need to offer something else. They need to give their audience that little bit more. And this is a great thing for all social media, for Instagram, for TikTok, wherever you are. So ways that e-commerce businesses can offer that audience extra are things like I said, the shopping guides. So it might be comparing a whole lot of your own products. It might be comparing your own products, then also with not a competitor, but a somebody you can collaborate with, a partnership. So there might be someone, for example, that sells, furniture, and your candle would look great on the piece of furniture or on the hall stand. So you might have a shopping guide that has your candle, but then also has this great hall stand and a few other things on there as well. Then you've got FAQs, so you can create a facts, answers, and questions page on your website. You've got aftercare or care of the candles, or how to make your candles last the longest. You've got guides that you can do, like spring cleaning guides, home decor guides, or blogs about these as well. You could do a quiz on your website that tells people the best, which scent is going to suit them the best. Just a fun little quiz. So, find your signature scent when it comes to candles. So there's these really fun ways to drive people to your website and to give them this gratification, fulfill this need that they have without actually getting them to buy. And then once they're on your website, or once you've given them a little bit of this extra kind of content, this extra kind of fulfilling their need, then they'll trust you enough to go on and buy. But it's really important that we're just not using the platform just to sell, sell, sell. We need to offer something else as well.
Couldn't agree with that more. There's such an importance on adding value to your potential customers and coming from the angle of, as you said earlier, human first, rather than just wanting to get the sale and just wanting to make the money from that sale. And so many of the candle makers I follow on social media, unfortunately, haven't quite grasped that concept. They're very much, and this goes for all businesses, not just candle makers, but it's very much, if I post a picture of my candle and say it's now here for sale, like it's now available for purchase, why aren't I getting sales? And it's like, you're in a sea of many, many candle makers. You need to come from it from a different angle and add value, weave in your journey, add value to your community. And then once they know, like, and trust you, they're more likely to purchase from you rather than just quickly finding you and making a purchase. It doesn't happen as often. And to get that customer loyalty, you need to be showing that you're there for them on a personal level rather than just after their money.
Yes, exactly. And it's a great point of difference. So, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, exactly. And it does take a bit of time, it does take effort, and it does take creativity, but you're in business because you want more from your life. And to do that, you need to work out how you can create, that point of difference for your customers and potential customers. What's the best approach, in your opinion, for organizing boards? Is there
Okay.
a specific method, or is it just you have 10 to 12 random boards?
No, I love this question. This person, I think, is using Pinterest. If they notice, they've asked this question, so that's a great question. Basically, you can actually rearrange your boards. So when you create your 12 boards, they go up in the order that you create them. And there's a little toggle button on the side of Pinterest in the board area that allows you to either put them A to Z, or most recent created, or custom. And so the custom is like a drag and drop option where you can literally just pull them around and drag them wherever you think they should be. So my suggestion is that you have seasonal boards first. And so seasonal content does really well on Pinterest. I have seen content that is 7, 8 years old. It was posted originally 8 years ago, and every Easter it does well again. So it will pop up again. It will be found again. And it's not the most attractive pin, but it's Easter content. And that's what shows up at Easter. So what you can do is you can create seasonal boards. So it might be Easter candles or Easter products, or Easter home decor, maybe even. That might be your board name. And that's a great place for you to save your Easter home decor or your Easter candles. And so at Easter time or in the 6 weeks leading up to Easter, I would pull that and bring it to the top of the line, the top of the boards. Once it comes to Christmas, I'd do the same. Spring, winter, whatever else, whatever other seasonal time it is. And then outside of seasonal times, I would put your branded boards first. So I always create a board called, say my business was Simone Pavils Candles, it would be called Simone Pavils Products. And that would be my first board ordinarily at other times outside of seasonal. And on that board, I could pin my products to it, but I could also pin my products to other boards as well. The boards need to be broad names. So they can't be really, really niched in, because otherwise it doesn't allow us to save all sorts of things to it. We want to have the opportunity to actually know that one pin can be saved to this board and this board and that board. So that's why it's really important to have those broad names. But yeah, seasonal content first, and then your branded boards following that.
Amazing. And it's not just about you saving the pins to your own boards, but it's allowing people to save the pins to their own boards on their profiles as well. Is that right?
Exactly. So your pins that you're publishing, they get saved to you put them in, the way you publish them is you put them onto a board on your profile, and then those pins can be discovered and resaved by anybody. And the beauty of that is, again, you're not only reaching your own audience and your own people, but all of, somebody who has 1 million followers, your pin is now been shown to 1 million other people that you may not have been connected with previously. So that's actually also a great positive about Pinterest, that ability to, just get random people and reach people all over the world that you've never ever been connected to, because people save your pins.
That's amazing. I'm in awe of the possibilities and opportunity that Pinterest can offer, not only myself in my coaching business, but my candle makers as well. And I think for those that have yet to explore the platform and they listen to this episode and they're considering starting a Pinterest account, as soon as you finish listening to this episode, then jump on Pinterest and create an account, because I think it's something that many people don't realize the power that it has. And I love that you've created a business yourself around Pinterest and SEO and helping people create the dream lives that they want for their own businesses and their own journey.
Yes. And, I'm also here if anybody needs and has any questions. But I also offer a service where I actually set your account up for you. It's got a done for you Pinterest setup. And I go in and I find all the keywords for you and I hand those keywords over to you. But I go through and I optimize the account. I put a beautiful cover image up on your account. I optimize all the keywords, create all the boards, optimize all those boards, and put some beautiful cover images on there as well. For you to see. And I've done that for a couple of candle makers already. So, you can also head to my website and check those people out in my portfolio.
What analytics or metrics should we focus on if we do have a business account?
Yeah, so it's easy to get caught up in those vanity metrics. A lot of people say, oh, I had 1 million impressions. Well, that's great. Your content was put in front of 1 million people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those 1 million people even looked at it or even, considered looking at it, clicked on it. Doesn't tell us anything. It just is that vanity metrics. And unfortunately, that's the first thing you see on Pinterest. You see monthly views. Monthly views are literally how many people, the content got scrolled buy and put in front of and people just scrolled by it. What we want to focus on is saves. So how many people is resaving it? And we know actually that saves is the biggest indicator of viral content, something that's going to go viral. So if you're noticing that something's getting saved a lot, all of a sudden, it's a pretty good indicator that, oh, this is about to go viral. The other thing we want to focus on is those outbound clicks. So those clicks out to your website or out to wherever it is you're sending people, because those clicks indicate, number one, that, okay, people will like this content, they're relating to it, they're heading to my website, and then we can track in Google Analytics what's happening once they get there. Are they making a conversion? Are they actually doing something with, once they get there? Are they bouncing off really quickly? And that's a great indicator of sort of, okay, if they're bouncing off quickly, what's happening when they get to your website that's causing them to bounce off, to leave the site quickly? Is there a pop-up that shows up within 10 seconds and, they don't even know you yet, let alone know whether they want, to sign up to your emailing list or get your discount code. I don't even know if I want any of your products. So I don't know if I want to give you my email address yet. So I always recommend that those should be at least delayed for 45 seconds. Or if you've gone, 80% scroll to the bottom of a page, you can always have them pop up then. But there are often times where you head to a website and they're immediately popping up. So that can be a deterrent. The other thing is that if you're sending, you've got a pin out there and you're sending it to a piece of content that is completely unrelated. I've said that I'm sending them to 5 of my favorite products to have the house smelling clean. And you've just sent me to a product or a gallery page or category page. That's not really fulfilling that need. That's been a bit untruthful, a little bit distrusting. And so you've instantly lost the person. They thought they were getting something on the other end of this pin. They didn't get it. So it's important to have those things linking.
Yeah, that's such a good point you make about the pop-up. The expectation that someone will just hand over their email just because they're on your website isn't necessarily the case. They need to be invested at least a little bit in the website, in searching and having a look, scrolling to the bottom, or being on there for, as you say, at least 45 seconds before that pop-up comes up, because it can be a distraction rather than an incentive to actually give over their email address.
Yeah, and we've got about 3 seconds to capture somebody. So when they pop to our website, and this is the thing about homepages, if they land on your homepage and in the first 3 seconds, it's either taking too long to load, and we're going a little bit into SEO here, but it is related because we're sending people from Pinterest to your website. So your website needs to be functioning and working properly as well. But it took those whole 3 seconds to load. Bum bum, you've lost them. Or in that first 3 seconds, there's a pop-up, you've most likely lost them. Or they head to your website and they are showing something that doesn't tell them who it is, who you are, what is it that you do, or your point of difference at the very top of the website. Well, then you may lose them as well there. So it's really important to take advantage of that first 3 seconds.
It's incredible to think that our attention spans are so short, are so quick, that if we're not hitting the mark almost instantly, we can potentially lose customers or potentially lose sales. But what I love about is when we get the opportunity, or when we take the time to analyze our metrics and analyze the data, we can see at what point things are working most efficiently for us or most effectively, and then make those changes and then retest and then relook at the data again. And it's a constant learning phase or a constant learning journey of how can I improve not only my website, but the imagery and the content and the everything that's involved in building a business. And so being curious and being open to learning about how to improve, or learning new platforms such as using Pinterest, can really make a difference in the success of our business.
Yeah, and I get it. It can be overwhelming, having so much to do, but just tackle one thing at a time. And obviously, if we're sending people to our website from somewhere like Pinterest or Instagram, then our priority should be actually making sure that that experience on the website is a great experience, a great user experience. So I often say for an e-commerce site, actually go through, add a product to cart, I mean, get yourself a discount code so you're not paying yourself, but add a product to cart, enter the free discount code, do the whole process, put your email address in, your address, all that kind of stuff, do everything, purchase it, and see exactly what that experience is like. Even better, get a family or a business buddy to do it. Hey, if I give you this discount code, can you just run through the process of buying something on my site and seeing how it is? Is there anything that pops up? Is there content that you can't see? Is there words cut off? Did you not like, should the cart have been on the right side as opposed to the left side? Funny enough, we love seeing the cart on the right side. So when the cart's on the left side or vice versa, it sometimes can be distracting. Now, if that works on your site, that's great. But just thinking about these things, when somebody comes to your website and the words across the top, the navigation, your menu are really overwhelming and confusing, that can lose somebody. So just thinking about the actual experience, and a great thing to do is just asking someone else to do it for you and giving you feedback. Get them to record it as they do it, do a screen record. And they can say to you, oh, this has caught me out. I'm not really sure where to go here. I'd love to actually read more about your story, but I can't find your story. Or look, I've come to this blog from Pinterest and I can't see, it's not answering my question. I'd actually, after I read this blog, I'd love to click and link, sign up to your emailing list, but there's no option to. Just have a little look from a bystander's position as opposed to being in your own business, and lots of things will pop up.
Yeah, that's such good advice. And I think it's so important to run through that process when you first set up your website or when you first set up your Pinterest, and then, maybe, a week later, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, just constantly or consistently being aware of what the buyer's experience is like and trying to eliminate any bugs or errors or things that might not flow as nicely as you would hope for.
And it never stops. You're always updating your stuff, whether it be your website or your branding or anything. It never stops.
Yes, it definitely doesn't. It's not just set and forget. So I want to ask just about social media and Pinterest and how the two connect. Can we repurpose our content from social media into Pinterest and vice versa? How does that work?
You can. The thing is that you want to have somewhere that it can link to. So if you've got a reel that's done really great on on Instagram, and you want to get it onto Pinterest, have you got somewhere that can link to, not just a product or an actual blog? And so this is the thing about content planning, having something at the very top, which is actually on your website, whether it be that opt-in or a blog or a aftercare guide, a shopping guide, having that at the top of your content ideas, and then actually driving all of your content from that. So thinking about, okay, well then how can I get this onto Instagram? What can I do to get this on Instagram? What can I do to get this onto Pinterest? And, you just keep going to all the places you want to put it on, but it's always able to link back to that. My email marketing, I can link back to that. I've got this great guide. This is why it was created. And so having that content you can always link back to means that you can get your reel or your video anywhere. You can put it on Pinterest, you can put it onto TikTok, you can put it onto anywhere. But just making sure you've got somewhere to link back to. Sometimes people link their content back to Instagram, which is okay, sparingly. I always say that we can do that a little bit. But ideally, we don't, we're just sending it from Pinterest to Instagram, and then what? Then they've got to go to the profile to find another link. So we're just delaying that, and again, allowing people to second guess whether they want to give us their time. Ideally, we want to send people to our website.
Yes, absolutely. And by having strategically designed pins that add value but still direct you to the website, and then have a blog or have an article or something or a guide to be able to support the customers or potential customers' interaction with you, they'd be more likely to make a purchase.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sure that everybody gets a whole lot of questions, from their customers about things. Those are great opportunities for content.
Amazing. So, Simone, we've come to one of my favorite parts of the podcast where I ask all my guests 3 questions relating to candles. So, the first question is, what is your favorite candle fragrance?
Ooh, I love something like tropical coconut or lemon or that kind of sweet tropical flavors.
Makes you feel like that you're on a Caribbean cruise somewhere, somewhere other
Exactly.
than at home. Question number 2, what do you love about candles?
Definitely like the scent and how it fills my house with that clean, sweet smell. I love that.
And then the last question is, what is one piece of advice you'd love to give to candle makers?
This is a great piece of advice that I got from somebody else. Imperfect action is action. So go ahead and just set up the profile on Pinterest, create some boards and create some pins, and don't overthink it too much. You really can't mess things up that badly. Basically, the worst thing you can do is trigger the spam filter, and that would be from posting the same thing over and over again. Just do it. Just go ahead and give it a try, because otherwise you won't know if it works.
Yeah, that's right. So bring Pinterest into your marketing and content strategy as another way to leverage your business and have fun with it. Just enjoy the journey you're learning and discovering how Pinterest can work for you and your business. And yeah, just have fun.
Yes, exactly.
Simone, thank you so, so much for being on the podcast and sharing your wisdom and knowledge when it comes to all things Pinterest. I know that the listeners will probably have some questions about what we've discussed today. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, where can we find you online?
Yeah, so I love answering questions in my Instagram DMs, but you can also check out my Instagram. I've got lots and lots of information on there. So head to my Instagram, which is this Simone Pavils, or you could go to my website, which is www.simonepavils.com, and you can check out my products and services there, and get in contact with me there as well.
Amazing. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend, for listening to this episode. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout the conversation, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're feeling inspired, I would love it if you would write a review for the podcast and give a 5-star rating. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.